Canadian Immigration Minutes, an employer's role, brought to you by Lowe & Company. Many employers in Canada rely on overseas talent. We understand the need for employers to engage talent as soon as practicable and have helped many employers strategize and navigate through various immigration programs to do that. At the end of the day, however, employers want to know what their obligations are when recruiting for and offering jobs to overseas talent. Here are three primary areas. The main issue when recruiting overseas talent is their need for a work authorization. A general rule for getting a work authorization is that the employer must establish that no Canadians were available for the job. While there are many exemptions to this rule, when it applies, there are strict requirements for the recruitment efforts used. If recruitment includes seeking overseas talent, then those efforts should meet recruitment requirements before getting started, or else there might be potential delays. Once an employer has found the overseas talent it needs, then the next step is to get that talent a Canadian work authorization. The best type of work authorization will typically depend on factors including the talent's nationality, experience, type of work being offered, and even French language ability. Additionally, there are many logistical issues such as preparing the request, processing times, and finally, actually having them come to Canada. It's important for employers to consider and be involved with these things, but ultimately, most of these elements are the talent's responsibility. When Canadian employers offer jobs to overseas talent, they are mainly responsible for: number one, submitting an application for either a labor market assessment showing that hiring overseas talent will have a neutral or positive impact on the Canadian labor market, or an online offer of employment document through the Government of Canada's employer portal. Number two, providing the overseas talent with details about their business and the job offer, which will depend on the type of authorization requested. And number three, ensuring that they can meet the terms of the job offer. Once the work authorization is granted, it's all over. Or is it? All Canadian employers must comply with Canadian labor laws, but those hiring overseas talent who receive work permits specific to the employer have to take extra care. For 6 years after the date the work permit is granted, the employer must keep all records related to either the labor market assessment application or the employer portal offer of employment, and, if inspected, it must be able to demonstrate compliance with the employer obligations under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. The Canadian government has committed to inspecting at least a quarter of all employers who hire overseas talent that ultimately hold employer-specific work permits. Failure to comply can result in penalties that includes fines of up to $1 million, public blacklisting, and even a ban from hiring from overseas. As a result, employers in this situation need to plan and be prepared for compliance from the beginning. We hope this video has been helpful with providing a quick overview of an employer's role and obligations when hiring overseas. If you would like advice about hiring overseas talent, then we can help.